to close at the end, which the TikTok I think that you referenced was like a no-base close. And I think a lot of natural salespeople do this anyways. Like if I want something, I'm gonna be like, hey, can you do this for me? I'm like, hey, would you mind? And they say no. They don't, I don't mind. Right? Like this natural communication dynamics that most people who naturally know how to persuade people or at least influence do that on their own. This is just retroactively looking at it and saying, what did I do different? Like, why is this different? And in terms of like overcoming, because people are afraid of confrontation, right? That's what they're afraid of. And so I believe that you can sell without ever having confrontation. And you can do that with what I like to call childlike curiosity. And so if someone says, well, my husband's not going to approve of that, I'm like, why wouldn't he? What do you like? That's so interesting. Tell me more about that. Rather than like, all right, let's like your husband's an asshole. Like that's not going to work because in arguments, no one wins, right? And so be like, why would he think that? Because I would think that he wants what's best for you, right? Yeah, he wants what's best. Does he know you're struggling with this right now? Well, I mean, yeah, he knows I'm struggling with it. Okay, so he wants what's best for you, knows you're struggling with it. So why do you think he would be opposed to solving something that you're currently struggling with? Just so I understand, would he be happier if you continue to struggle? Well, no. It's like, well, great. Then would you be opposed to moving forward today? And that way, and hey, if you go home to your husband and you make a joke and it lightens the scenario and then you close it, right? And so I think childlike curiosity is the immediate that you have to train because people get defensive. So that is one thing that like fighters talk about when they're in the ring, like in the beginning, you breathe in too much, right? I don't know if you've been in like sparring and stuff, like you breathe too much, you hyperventilate. And so the guys who've done it enough, they slow down their breathing because when things get intense, they can slow it down. And so I think sales is a lot the same way where you're like, your adrenaline kicks in, you start breathing faster, it's fight or flight. So you got to be able to slow it down and be like, that's crazy. I wouldn't have thought that. Okay, tell me more about that. And like now you're interested. And then they don't feel like you're combating them. They feel like you genuinely are interested and want to help them, which is what you should be doing because you should be selling them only if it makes sense.
You're exhausting. You are full of like interesting insights and like it's like you know a lot of shit and like you've clearly packaged this in really easy to understand ways. It's almost exhausting listening because it's like when you read a really good historical book or something, it's like every sentence is packed with a fact.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, like I want to pay
I didn't know what the hell he's talking about. I was like, exhausting. This is awesome. But then now I know there's this book I'm reading right now that's like one of the best books I've ever read. Literally the first 10 pages have more insight than any book I've ever read. And I'm only on page 30 because I'm like rationing this, not because I think I'm gonna run out. It's like, I can only have my mind blown so many times per minute. And so I got to like chill out with this book right now. And I'm reading 10 pages at a time. Then I hand it to my trainer and he reads 10 pages just so I have a 2-day break. And then we bring it back. That's our book club right now. And I think it's more like that, like what you just said, which is how many lessons were there to learn, right? So there's the lesson of like, guy goes from sleeping on the gym floor to, like hustling, but then realizing I'm hustling 100% or I'm hustling level 10 at a level 2 opportunity. Okay, how did he recognize that? Wait, what? And then people got to ask themselves, what level is my opportunity that I'm at right now? And you had that formula of like number of units sold times gross profit per unit times like, supply demand dynamics of the market.
That's
it's like
what I'm
that
saying,
one
man.
nugget alone is enough
these
for you to put down the podcast and go fucking reassess your life. All right. Then we go to the next phase where it's like the part where you're like, yeah, we charge $500 up front. And then we had this continuity thing where we would actually say, hey, great, congrats. You've made awesome progress. We're actually going to offer you more for less because we want our LTV to go longer. And we know that reduces churn, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to do that because the best time to sell somebody is when they're most excited. Boom. Nugget 2, go rethink your sales and pricing strategy. You're probably doing